Okay, session 2, offer a great product or service. And this was the sort of the stimulus that caused me to put this program together in the first place. And it's so simple, you just want to, again, shake your head. It's so simple. What it says is, offer a great product or service. Each of these is a great, by the way. Great, become a great leader, offer a great product or service. We say the quality of your product or service determines 90% of your business success. Yes, this is where the rubber meets the road. This is the most important part of your business, is the quality of your product. And what we say here is quality is the key determinant of your growth and profitability. Everything else is secondary. It's the advertising and the promotion and everything else. But everything comes down to the quality of what you offer. And if you want to take this a little bit further, which took me more than a year to come to, is that the quality of your work determines 90% of your future in the world of business. The quality of your own personal work determines 90% of what happens to you in the future. So your company is determined by the quality of the product. And if you look at all of your most successful companies, they all have products that are recognized as the highest quality products in their industry. And there's all kinds of ways that you can turn this around. But one of my examples, people say, what about Walmart? They don't offer the highest quality products. Well, if you look at Walmart, they have kind of a brilliant business model. What they do is they offer a wide variety of good, solid, quality products for the family. Not expensive products, not elite products, not Nordstrom's products, but they are products that are good. And then they unconditionally guarantee them. If you're not happy with this product at any time, after you've used it for a year, Walmart will give you your money back so fast it'll burn your hand. Because they are passionate about the needs of their customers. And their customers need a wide selection of basic products at good prices, of good quality for the family. So they define themselves as we supply the family of the 70% of the population who lives from paycheck to paycheck. Sam Walton came up with that in Bentonville. We carry solid products, well-made, unconditionally guaranteed, and at the best prices. And if you're not happy with it, you get your money back instantly. Has anybody here shopped at Walmart's? I didn't shop at Walmart's for years because I thought it was a poor person's store. And then I went to work. Then I worked for Walmart's as a speaker trainer, and I did a lot of research. Well, the first thing you find at Walmart's is how nice everybody is. Second thing you find is if you go into a Macy's or a Nordstrom to get a refund, where's the refund department? Well, it's usually at the back of the store on the 5th floor. Where's the refund department in Walmart? Right next to the front door. And do you have to show a receipt or a slip or fill out a form or anything else? You just get in line, and the line is as fast as a Disneyland line. You just go through that line, and you say, I didn't like this. Give the money back. They don't hold you up for 1 second to ask you, did you use it, did you try it, did you hurt it, did you break it? They just said, here's your money back. Thank you for shopping at Walmart's. Here's something else that Walmart's does is they have greeters. Greeters. Now, what does a greeter do? Well, they've figured the best way to help people come to Walmart's, because they're not geniuses, is to direct them quickly and clearly to the department where they can get what they want. And then some genius at Walmart said, well, let's just call them greeters. And let's just put them at the front door, and if somebody comes in and they're looking for something, the greeter takes care of them. Now, I have a friend who's 25 years ex-IBM who also works for Walmart as a speaker trainer. And he told me last year something, last September he told me something about this. He said, at Walmart's, pointing is a firing offense. Pointing is a firing offense. In other words, if you go into Walmart and you say, where can I get a blouse or shampoo or something like that? They say, please come with me. And they take them. And if they're not well, if they got tired legs like I have, then they have an electric cart to take the guests, the customers, to the department. And then they show them the product, and they show them other products, and they keep showing them products and locations until the person says, well, I think I got it now, thank you so much. And then, and only then, do they go back to take care of the next customer. Imagine that. Pointing is a firing offense. That's how well Walmart takes care of its people. And so you think about that. So what is quality? Well, 70% of the population considers this kind of treatment for me at my budget level is really good quality. And that's why Walmart's is the most popular department store chain in the history of the world. They've got 11,000 stores now and 1,220,000 employees, because people like to go to Walmart's because that is a quality place. Of all the places they could go, half the customers in the world go to Walmart. So anyway, so quality is the most important thing. And one of the things you always have to ask is, what is quality? What is quality determined by your customers? And are you offering the quality that they want? And you can tell if you are not offering them the quality they want very quickly. How can you tell? It's they don't come. You're standing there in your empty store saying, we got the greatest of all quality. I had this gentleman hire me as a business coach, and I went to take them through this exercise, and in terms of quality ranking, because your quality ranking is really the key. And he said to me, oh, we have the highest quality in the industry. We have the highest quality services. We're the best. We're absolutely the best. There's no question. We are the best. We are so good at what we do. And I say, really? He said, yes. I said, well, now, Apple iPhone is considered the highest quality iPhone. I said, that's right. And I said, and when they issue a new iPhone, people sleep on the streets overnight or throughout the weekend so they can get in there at 8 o'clock on Monday morning to be a first purchaser. That's a quality product. He said, well, what does this have to do with me? I said, well, tell me, how many people are there sleeping in front of your building when you come to work in the morning? He said, there's never been anybody sleeping in front of my building when I come to work in the morning. I said, then, well, maybe your product is not the best quality. Maybe your prospective customers are going somewhere else because they're not coming to your place. Well, I think that was sort of the end of our conversation together. He was really mad at me because he'd been going around telling everybody on the phone before I met him. When I met him, oh, we're the best, we're the best, we're the best. I said, well, anybody sleeping on the floor in front of your business? No, there isn't. So quality is the key determinant. And we say here, your product, service, quality is the key determinant of your reputation. Now, according to Harvard, your reputation is your most valuable financial asset as a business. Your reputation is what people say about you after they have done business with you. They're what they say around the family dinner table. They're what they say at work, where the person has gone to your restaurant, your store, used your product or service. What words, we'll talk about this later, but what words do people use when they talk about you after they've done business with you? That word, your reputation, is the critical determinant of your future. That predicts your future, what your reputation is. So what is your reputation? Now, here's an interesting, I'm sure it's not true here in the beautiful city of Houston, but big companies are absolutely fastidious about constantly reviewing their customers' opinions of them. And especially, what words do customers use when they talk about my company and my products, when they're talking to other people who are prospective prospects? What words do they use? So I could ask you that question, and we could also play Keep Your Job with that question. How many people would like to play? Because most people don't know. They have no idea what their customers say and think about them. But your reputation as a person, your reputation for the quality of the work you do at work, but your reputation as a person is the most valuable thing you have. Shakespeare said, he who steals my purse steals trash, but he who steals my good name steals all. So what is it? What do people say about you? And then the next question is, what do you want them to say? What would it be helpful for them to say? If everybody said these things about you, what effect would that have on your business? Would they be sleeping in the streets and storming the company at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning? And what are they? So your product service, so this brings us to the second point, is how do you, we say here, is how often, the key measure of business success is how often customers say, this is a great product. This is a great product. So what percentage of your customers say this after they buy from you? This is a great product. Say it to their friends, say it to the manager, say it to the staff, go home and say it to their family. How many people say this is a great product? This is by the way, this is my contribution to business science. These words, and by the way, it translates, this is 5 words, but it translates into a whole variety of foreign languages. I mean, every foreign language. This is a great product. That, how many times, what percentage determines your level of sales and profitability, how fast your company grows, everything that happens to you in the future. And this is a number that's malleable. You can actually affect this number by changing things, doing more of this and less of that, starting this and stopping that. You can really change it. So this is the great question. So how many people use that, say that your company or your product is a great product after using it right now? Do you know? Do you know what the general public opinion polls are? Companies that are successful study this number all the time. They study it all the time. They question their customers. They go out to the parking lot with them. They phone them at home. They send them questionnaires to find out the percentage here. Because this is the greatest predictor of business success that there is. So we say here, there's this questionnaire, and I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to have you go through and sit down with the people in your company and fill in this questionnaire. What are the answers that you get? And worst of all is you don't know the answers. What percentage of the time does your product or service do what you say it will do? What exactly do you sell? What does your customer consider value? Which of your products or services sell the most easily and are the most popular? What do your products or services offer to your competitors that make them superior, or to your customers that make them superior to your competitors? What skills, abilities, knowledge, or capabilities will you need in the future to produce great products and services? And so on. So you look at these questions, and what 3 things could you do starting today to trigger the response, this is a great product from your customer? And these are questions that cannot be left to chance, because basically your whole future hangs on them. And most people don't know what they are. Now, I've discovered something quite interesting about your customers. We have gone out and interviewed your customers before this session here today. All right? And we have found that your customers are very nice people. Yes, they're very nice people. And in probing a little bit, we found that they all want you to be rich. Yes, they all want you to be rich. They sit around the table and they talk about you becoming rich and how they could help you become rich. And that's all they think about is they want you to be rich. Yes. And they want you to be rich in one particular way. They want you to make them happy. That's it. They're not demanding. They just want you to make them happy. And if they're currently buying from someone who offers a similar product than you, then they want you to be rich by making them happier than their current supplier is making them happy. So basically you are in the business. I mean, one of my books, the business, the ER business. Better, faster, cheaper, easier, convenienter. In other words, your job is to make your customers happier in every way possible than your competitors do. And if you do, you know what they will do to pay you back? They'll buy your product. And if you give them a good product that you promised, then they'll buy it again and tell their friends. And you'll be rich. Now, how do you find out what it will take? And the answer is, they say the same thing. Just send them over and ask me. Just ask me what it will take to make me happy. And then if you do it, I'll buy from you. And if you buy from me, I'll buy again and make you rich. It's real simple. So your customers are all sitting there waiting. They're all sitting there waiting. Come and ask me what I need to be happy so I can buy from you and buy again and tell your friends. And I don't mean to be facetious, but this is exactly the way the world is. All customers want is to be happy. All they want is for you to make them happy. And if you make them happy over and over again, just like Walmart's or Lululemon or any other successful company, if you make them happy over and over again, they'll buy from you again and again. Did you read the statistics recently that the iPhone did a survey of their current phone owners, which are now 660 million, that they have bought at an average price of about $600 or $700. And they've asked them, how happy are you with your Apple iPhone? And they said, very happy. And they said, well, the only measure of how happy someone is what? Repeat sales. So they said, well, do you plan to buy the new model when it comes out? You see the new models being advertised now, the i8. And they sound 90% are planning to buy a new model. 90% are planning to buy a new model. And you also saw 2 weeks later, Apple is now rated as the most popular company in the world. And last week, Well, Apple has $600 billion in reserves. It has more money than any other company in the history of the world. And they say, oh, Apple sales are down. Did you read that? Apple sales are down. Yes, they're also the biggest and most profitable company in the history of the world. And every single time they do a survey, here's Warren Buffett went out and bought $24 billion worth of Apple shares 2 months ago. Did you see that in the paper? $24 billion. Why? As soon as he heard the customers are so happy that they're all going to buy again, 90% are going to buy again, OMG, plus all the new people. And 90% of the new people are going to buy. Is that good? Would you think that's good for Apple? Yes. And why? It's because they keep asking their customers what will it take to make you happy, and then they do it. And you're thinking, this is not deep. No, this is not deep, but this is how you become successful and rich. So this is the key measure of business success. So fill out these questions and think, what can I do starting today? And remember, focus. Just pick one thing. Just pick one thing that you could do to make your customers happier than they are today. If you can do that on a regular basis and get everybody in the company thinking about happier, you can be one of the most successful and profitable companies in history. And it's very simple, and there's no cost to it. Well, there's a little bit of cost in the improvement, but in terms of asking and finding out, there's no cost. Just ask them, call them up and say, look, we want to make you happy. What's the most important thing we could do to make you happier with our product than you've ever been? And your customers will tell you. Customers have it. It's called top of mind awareness. Customers will tell you in 1 second. So it's not that hard. Okay, session 3, create a great marketing plan. Now, what is our timing, Howard? When are we going to take a break? I don't know. Does anybody?
2:40.
2:40. Yeah. Okay, what do I got here? 2:40. And what time is it now? 2:15?
We started 10 minutes late.
We started 10 minutes late. So what is it now? 10? Is it 2:15?
Yeah.
Okay,
How about if you tell us when we're going to take a break?
Oh, you tell me, I tell you, you tell me.
Hey, Brian, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Are you ready for a break? Are you guys ready for a break? Yes.
Yes.
All right, let's give it a break now then.
Okay, let's make it a short break.
Okay, very
10 minutes?
10 minutes.
Or 15?
I tell you what, why don't you go for 10 more minutes and then we'll take a break at 2:30. How about that? 10 minutes.
All right, we'll make it at 10:30. 2:30. Okay. This sounds like a Greek democracy. Everybody's voting in different directions. Now we're digging down, just like you dig deeper, ever deeper levels of diamonds. And the very best diamonds are the alluvial diamonds, which are well below the superficial diamonds and the smaller diamonds. As you get deeper and deeper, you get bigger and more expensive diamonds. So this is the third level of digging: leadership, and then quality, and then marketing plan. And because it's of no good to have great quality unless you have a good marketing plan. So I'm going to give you what you would actually take in a 2 to 4 year degree at Harvard from the great marketing geniuses. They would teach you these things. And I have studied these for decades. And I have a book on marketing, on competitive advantage from Michael Porter, and it's about this big, this thick, and the same size as this. And it costs $800. On just the one subject of competitive advantage is why is your product superior to your competitors? Because that's the reason why people buy it. And if you don't have a competitive advantage, well then you should find a nice place by the dock or by the lake and retire. So here we go. Marketing strategy says this: all business strategy is marketing strategy. Whatever business you are in, you are in the marketing business. Whatever business you're in the marketing business. And it's interesting because your products and services will come and go over the weeks and months and years, but your marketing system is always there. That's almost like the track that the railroad runs on. So your ability to attract qualified prospects determines your success in business. And there are many companies that have had excellent products and services, but they just did not know how to convey that to their prospective customers. So the customers just went right on by and bought from their competition. And that could be happening to you. Many companies have found just by changing their marketing strategy, they totally transform their sales and profitability. So we'll talk about this. You are responsible for making the critical strategic decisions for your business, especially in marketing. So what we say here is in competitive analysis is your competition, and by the way, sometimes I will say, who sets your prices for your products? And people will say, we do. And who determines your level of sales? We do. And who determines your levels of profitability and growth and overall success? We do, we do, we do. I said, no, it's always your competition. Your competition. Okay. Your competition determines your level of sales, the prices you charge, and how much money you make. So if you are not succeeding at a level that makes you happy, you are responsible, going back to making those decisions, making the decisions necessary that will cause people to buy from you rather than from your competitors. And so we say here, there are 4 principles of marketing strategy. And your decisions in these 4 areas determine the success or failure of your business. The book that I was telling you about, Michael Porter's book, he gets paid $1 million an assignment. Sometimes he gets paid $1 million just simply to address major corporations on competitive strategy because he's so smart. But your decisions in these 4 areas will largely determine the success or failure of your business. There we go. Okay. He's smiling. All right, there we go. Oops. There we go. And the 4 principles of marketing strategy, you can actually, as I say, take an advanced degree in these 4, and I would say 80 to 90% of business people do not know these 4. And as a result, they're in real serious trouble. It's like trying to find an important location and not having the address or having a GPS. The first is specialization. That means this is the area of product or service where you specialize. The second is differentiation. This is what makes your product or service different and superior. The third is segmentation. These are the customers that most appreciate your product. And the fourth is concentration. So those are the 4 pillars of marketing strategy. And so the first one, specialization, this is the product or the service or the customer or the market or the area of technology where you focus all your efforts. So imagine that you were explaining that you were in this kind of a business to a child. And the child said, in what area do you specialize? What is your answer? How would you answer a child? You see, if a child cannot understand your answer, then neither can the purchasing public. So what is it where you specialize? For example, Apple specializes in high tech and now communications. They don't sell refrigerators or cars or homes or anything else. They specialize in high tech areas, especially phones and iPads. What is the service? A doctor, a dentist, an accountant, a lawyer, an architect. These people specialize in a particular service. What they do is they try to give more and more and better of that type of service to a more demanding customer market. A particular type of customer. Going back to Walmart, 70% of the market that lives from paycheck to paycheck. These people don't have any extra money. They focus on them. A couple of times they've tried to go off the reservation and offer higher quality products or offer non-family products, and they've just been beaten back and had to get out of that area very quickly. Your area of technology. These are places where you focus your efforts. And if you focus your efforts or you start to offer too many things, you become unclear or fuzzy to the market. And one of the things I learned as a young salesman is that fuzzy understanding is the number 1 reason for failure in sales. Number 1 reason for failure. It's the number 1 reason why people fail to sell. Number 1 reason why people fail to buy is they just don't understand what your product or service is, how you specialize. Because until they understand that, they can't decide to buy from you rather than someone else. Here's the second pillar. It's called differentiation. And differentiation, there we go. Differentiation, this is your competitive advantage, is what you offer that no competitor can offer. And it's an advantage. It's not something that your competitor has as well, but it's something that you have in a completely different league than your competitor. Number 2 is your area of excellence, area of superiority. So let's say the child is walking along with you and they say, well, I specialize in this product. And in what way are you superior to any of your competitors? And if your competitor was standing there, your competitor would say, oh yeah, he, she, their products in that area is definitely better than ours. Your competitor, an honest competitor, will agree that you have something that they don't have. Number 3, your unique selling proposition. A unique selling proposition, which you've all heard about, is called a USP. This is the number one reason why people buy your product rather than someone else's product. Now, products that have many different features, like an Apple iPhone, can have a unique selling proposition for different prospective purchasers. One may buy it because of the camera or the movie. One may buy it because of the music or the communications. One may buy it for something else. I have a friend who actually makes minor movies that are played in the box offices from an iPhone 7. As a matter of fact, he's flying out to visit me from Germany next week to make a short movie at my place. I had a woman wanted to come to my office and shoot a 90-minute movie about 2 or 3 months ago, and I didn't have the time. And she was going to turn that out as a feature picture and issue it on television or even in theaters. The whole thing with an iPhone 6, iPhone 7. And there's no other phone in the world that could possibly do that. Not only do the shooting with the video, the camera, and then all the editing and the music and all those other things. So that could be a unique selling proposition for someone who wanted to make a movie. Where are you, or could you be the best? You have to find something that your product or service does or offers that makes it superior to a substantial number of potential customers. You can't have a product or service that a small number of people like or want. It's got to be something that lots of people like or want. And so where are you, or could you be the best? Differentiation, so important. Now the third area is segmentation. And segmentation is ask, who are those customers who most appreciate your area of superiority? There's always certain people for whom what you do better than anybody else is really important to them. Jim Collins, so I think I saw a sign with Jim Collins. Jim Collins was asked by the Vince Harnish, who was talking about scaling up. It's how do you grow your business really fast? And he was saying, what's the key to growing a business quickly? He said, there's 2 things. He said, you have to offer a product that matters, that people care about it emotionally, and it has to be better than anybody else's. I thought, wow. I do lots and lots of reading. Wow, that's a good one. I love the word that matters. And so people in my audience would go, what does that mean? I said, well, it's very simple. You ever had a situation where you've gotten in your car and driven halfway to work and realized you left your phone at home? Have you had that experience? What did you do? You turned around and went back because that product matters. That is important to you. And if you couldn't go back, you had somebody bring it. Or you had to send in a taxi or something. But that product really matters to you. If a product doesn't matter, it's very hard for you to seize a strong market position with it because it's replaceable by something else that may not be as good. So who are those customers who most appreciate your area of superiority? What are their demographics? In other words, what are the noticeable, observable features about them? What are their psychographics? How do they think and feel? What are their emotions? What's going on in their minds? And how would you describe your perfect customer? By the way, this is so important in building your business. If someone were to say to you, who is the perfect customer for you? If a child were to ask you, exactly who buys your product rather than someone else, what would they say? And so here are the demographics, and I see we're approaching our break here. Number 1 is age, of course. What is the age range? This is a vital factor in determining your product, your marketing, everything else. Second of all, what is their gender? Male, female. Good grief. You have to know that. What is their income range? It's always ranges. What is their education range? 5, what is their occupation? What sort of work do they do? Location, where do they live? Where do they work? And so on. And finally, 7, what is their family status? With or without children, children young, children grown, and so on. Now, if you're in a competitive business and you don't know these things, you had better find out very quickly. And how do you find out these things? How do you find out? Yes, you just ask them and they'll tell you. We want to be sure that we're giving you the very best products and services for you that make you the happiest. Could I ask you a few questions about yourself so we can be sure to focus in on making you happy? They'll always say yes. And if they don't say yes, you really don't want them anyway. So now their psychographics. What are their goals and ambitions? What do they want to accomplish in life? You know, people are driven by goals. If you come along and you have a product that helps a person to achieve an important goal to them, they're ready to pounce on it immediately. Their wants, what are their needs? What are their motivations? What's churning in their mind? What are they thinking of? What are their hopes and dreams? People will do anything to respond to their hopes. What are their fears and doubts and worries? Do you know that in purchasing any product, they have found that there is a key benefit or one major attraction that will cause a person to buy it, and there is a key fear that will cause the person not to buy it. And before you can sell your product or service, you must identify the most important benefit that the customer wants in buying it, and you must identify and show them that they will get it, emphasize it, and you must also show them that the most common fear that people have is this, and you can take that away. And so how can you do that? And number 5 is, what are the problems to be solved? PTBS, we call this. Every product has a PTBS, problem to be solved. What is the problem that your product or service solves, that people want solved and are willing to pay money for and willing to pay money for immediately? I mean, you just think about the medical industry. As you know, what they're going to do with my foot is the equivalent of cutting it off. The doctor said to me, and I ignored it until a couple of hours later, he said, sometimes people refer to this operation as an amputation. And my mind blanked it out until about 2 or 3 hours later. I said, what? But that's what they have to do. They actually have to sever and then put it all back together again to cut the nerves. Or the nerves are just basically like a red hot poker jammed up into your leg all the time, which is why I don't smile very much when I walk with crutches. So anyway, you have to find out. But he's a very good doctor. He's one of the best. But what he said is basically this, is once you have this operation, the technology is so advanced that you'll never have another pain in that foot or leg. You'll never have another pain. It'll just basically, the nerves will be gone. And everything else will be fine. Wow. Can I get my shoe off now? And so therefore, what are the problems to be solved? People will pay a fortune to solve a problem if the problem matters to them. And then concentration. It's the 4th of the 4 pillars, is here we go. This is where you focus your time and your money and your resources. So what are the very best ways to contact your ideal customers? What are the very best possible media? What do they read? 3, what are their most powerful appeals? What will cause them to knee-jerk react to your offering? And so a great marketing plan attracts a steady stream of qualified prospects. As people are phoning and emailing and coming in physically, if it's a good marketing plan, there's a river of response. This is the measure, and there's only one measure, is are people coming in your door. Emphasizes your unique selling proposition. The one thing that would cause people to buy and buy now. And positions your product as the first and best choice in the customer's mind. If you're ever going to buy anything to take away this problem or achieve this goal or benefit, this is the very best one for you at this time. And so people come in and they lay their money down. They call this the strategy of preeminence, and then we'll take a break. The strategy of preeminence is your goal is to position yourself in your market as the only choice for what you sell. What? Who's doing that? Who is playing with this screen? I can't. Howard? I'm going to take a break. I promised you it would take... Jeez. Okay. All right, I'm 2 minutes late. There we go. Our what? No, we're not going to have that contest yet. Hey, you have to live here. You don't want to have the contest here. You want to have it in San Diego so you can get the night plane out and never have to face anybody. So your goal, and I've put together a whole new proposition on this, and it's called creating a monopoly. And it's based on some great research. Your job is to create a monopoly so that when a person thinks about buying your product, they only think of you. As far as they're concerned, there is no one else that offers your product because of the combination of ingredients that you offer that they don't. And the question is, how could you do that? What would you have to offer for people to see you as the only supplier for what you sell? And the answer is, it's achievable. Because everybody buys from a single supplier. There may be menswear stores or women's wear stores. There may be barbershops or boutiques or hairdressing salons. There may be restaurants. There's sometimes when you think, if I could only go to one place for this product or service, where would I go? And they have a monopoly on your mind space. How could you do that more often? Because the most successful companies have. That's a whole nother subject. It's about half a day. Anyway, we said we would take a break. Let's take 12 minutes and come back at 2:45. Is that right? 10 minutes? Come back at 2:45. Continue.
All right, so we are going to take a quick break. Just